file shares, this is some sort of cloud-based network. This is the canonical model of an application. Now if you look deeply into this application, what do you see? You see a topology of how virtual machines are talking to each other. You can then derive some sort of a logical topology based on a cloud provider's technologies. Then you will figure out how to access this whole environment remotely. This is what you're going to do, right? Is there anything different you're going to do? No. Right? Now, imagine this same premise to work across multiple clouds. Today, there are so many companies who are running this same stack across multiple clouds. Good example, Netflix. Lot of e-commerce companies are running across multiple clouds. Azure, Amazon. At least 2 clouds. Forget more. Now, let's go a little bit deeper in this, because all of us are familiar with Amazon. If you want to do the same thing in Amazon, is this how you do it? You do a elastic load balancer, a firewall, elastic load balancer, come in and do a web server farm, and then you have some root volumes, you put some logs there, and you have CloudFront for distribution across all the geographies. The problem is CloudFront, vendor lock-in. Most of these technologies, very intuitive.
But
Is there a common operational model?
no. Their architecture is similar, but not the model.
Yes. So there are 2 choices for us. Can we completely abstract this out and can we create a common architectural model? Yeah, if you are bold, you use the same Palo Alto firewall, remove the VPC, put Palo Alto in Azure, Palo Alto here, do global service load balancing. You can create an architecture. It's not possible. It's not completely impossible. Or you live with this architecture. You orchestrate for Azure separately. You orchestrate for Amazon separately.
Question: what is the S3 bucket for?
For storing files, static files.
Static files, backups, and things like that.
All the files that you want to show on the web page, like the JavaScripts, GIFs and all, you store it in S3 buckets.
Okay, and what is the elastic load balancer?
So if you have multiple,
Why is it called elastic?
because you can actually orchestrate it to scale it beyond, like as your load grows, you can be across
It can work
regions
as a
and all that.
Yeah. It can work as a geo load balancer.
Right.
So the S3 bucket is that you have an interface to the internet, or is it?
So you can actually distribute these S3 buckets over a content delivery network. CloudFront is a content delivery network of Amazon. So if you want, like, if somebody is accessing your application, let's say from Timbuktu or India, they're getting their static data from the local bucket, not from like your Santa Clara bucket or Oregon bucket.
So it will be old, right?
No.
It's
Sorry?
Okay.
It'll be it's pretty responsive.
Yeah.
But the thing is, architecture, this is beautiful, you have to pay a lot of money. So that's what AWS doesn't say, only the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
If you go for a geo-based load, all these terms are awesome, but the devil is in the details. If you want an ELB and S3 across even 2 data centers, forget, the price of California is cheaper than in Texas.
I will next year. I will get deeper
That's what I'm
into
saying, that they
network.
are making money.
So you have to be very clear on what you're going for. Architecturally, you can make beautiful PowerPoints.
So that's what. So security groups, you have different flavors of this. Again, data security, you have encryption capabilities in each of these providers. But who and where do you manage the keys?
It's our responsibility.
It's our responsibility. Ideally, you want to manage it closer to your home.
If it's HAS, ideally they should manage it. That's what the SLAs say.
We'll talk about. So those things, I have little time, so I will use my time. We'll talk once I finish. So the idea is, it doesn't end here. Once you want to go to multi-cloud, one of the approaches that you can take is a cloud access service provider, access broker approach, where you can actually have common policies for accessing multiple clouds. This is not a perfect answer, but this is one way to do it.
Better.
Yeah? So what do you do here? You have common identity management. At least you create one user, one place, and they can go to all clouds. Okay? Then you would have traffic redirection properly. You can actually say, hey, you know, my traffic going from my location to Amazon, AWS, all of these places, this is all well managed. And then finally, you have a common audit framework. You know who's going where. This is little bit better than before. Now, I'll switch gears. I wanted to talk a little bit more about it since lack of time. I'll take questions. The approach is CSBs are not the only answer. My view is it has to be augmented with orchestration and automation. I have few slides at the end of my talk. If time permits, I'll go through them. Otherwise, I'll leave it with one slide about what we do. Okay. Now I will take this other topic of. I told you, right, if you want to do something significant, you need to understand how it works underneath. Right? With that intention, whether you have an on-premise environment or a cloud environment, today, most of the cloud environments are based on software-defined networks. They're not hardware-defined anymore. Especially the big ones, they do not have standard appliances switching platforms. They have literally their own everything. So, they rely heavily on APIs to applications. Especially if you look at mega providers like Facebook, Google, their applications are aware of their underlying network. They respond and react to underlying network changes. They're protected at the application layer. The network itself, the infrastructure itself can fail in multiple places and there's literally no impact on application availability or performance. They're not talking about, most cloud providers, if you look at smaller ones, they talk about 3 nines capability. If you talk to Google, they'll talk about 3.5 nines capability, 99.95. Now, if you look at Google's own services, they talk about North Pole. Just like you would find a North Pole always, when you're going in a ship, they want their services to be up like that.
Wow.
That means they're architecting in such a way that it never goes down.
Is that possible though? What do you think?
Yes.
It's really possible.
See, today, there's a price to it.
Yeah, it's huge. How huge for that?
So what they do is, not just redundancy. It is architected like that. Because the way they do it is, they actually put software endpoints in every ISP.
Okay, that's right.
So your Google is as close as your first hop.
Yeah.
So they do Anycast, if you guys can look up Anycast. Stateful Anycast. So there will be one IP address for Google, wherever you are. There's only one IP address. And you can actually architect your application to have only one IP address. If you go do the Google Anycast, Google load balancing, GCP type environment. But frankly, the problem is vendor locking. There is no second provider. Freaking dangerous. You know, we were kicked out of Google after 3 years of putting 40 terabytes of data. They just don't want us. I used to work for Civi. I was very scared of getting kicked out, so I put all the data in a cheap storage. Every mail that went into Civi.com, people had this, Civi was the first private ISP in the country. So everybody from your dog to the biggest corporation had Civi.com mail account. So when we were not able to fight Yahoo, we felt Google was a better guy to be friends with, and we wanted to make money, so we monetized on Google Ad Network. So we moved 40 terabytes of 4 million users' mailboxes into Google at very small price, like 4 cents or 5 cents per mailbox. We paid, but we got back almost $1.50 back in Google Ad Network revenues.
Wow.
So we were profitable. So it was an awesome decision, you know. So the problem was not the awesomeness of the decision. The problem is 3 years later, Google didn't want to do this service provider mail anymore.
Now where do you go?
Exit strategy.
Yeah.
Well, we told our customers go to Google. We did a permanent redirection of the mailbox to google.com mail. What do we do? And we lost the revenue, we lost the customers.
That's true.
So how much did Google pay buying your?
They didn't pay anything. They just said we will not do it. And our management said we don't want to invest in infrastructure anymore. Catch 22. So this is the real problem with cloud. If the cloud says we don't want you, you are screwed. I'm sorry. I didn't say the word.
New job creation.
So yeah, anyway.
So existing guys will be fired. New guys will
Yeah,
be
so this is the lot of times. Basically, you have applications, you have a control plane that's central to all data centers in the cloud, and then you have data plane that's on every pod. Generally, a layer 2 switch with today that layer 2 switches are becoming commodity. So this is the nature. Application APIs are real. Disaggregated control plane. So now control plane is software. It's completely software. And then you have commodity data plane infrastructure. This is the simple understanding of software defined networks. You can apply it in your own company. This is very real. Today you can buy a switch from any Chinese vendor, just like you buy a Raspberry Pi, you can buy a switch. That's what my friend was selling, Satya was selling. Now today you can buy a switch like a Raspberry Pi. Yes, that is true. You can put Cumulus operating system, Big Switch operating system, somebody's operating system. Dell also will sell you a white box switch, which runs with the SDN network. So all of these services, QoS, 4 through 7 services are all software defined. They're all network functions that are working like VMs or that are working like sub-network components. Now, this is a typical logical layout of how SDN works. You have an orchestration layer which is very, very key. The point is, today, when you look at the multi-cloud world, you are bound to have this orchestration layer, especially if you're looking at software-defined WANs that are spread across the globe. You want to have common policy management infrastructure across your global infrastructure. This is the only way to do it. There's no other way. Some good companies like Anutar have a much more evolved YAML-based architecture, but a lot of people don't even know what to do there.
Intentional networks.
Intention-based networks. Intent-based networks. So there are guys like IntentionNet who will validate whether you have that or not. So it's a big business. Now, you can look at what are you trying to achieve? You're trying to achieve resilience in your network. If something fails, you want to do failover on your providers, failover on your equipment, failover on your various things, and kind of fix it as you go. If you don't have an automated, orchestrated manner of managing your network, you can't do that. Then you need to be able to do service chaining. That means if your application requires load balancing, firewall, this 4 or 5 activities, you need to be able to do one after the other for the same packet. It's a very complex problem to have.
For the same packet?
Yes. Yes. So if you have a web server, that web server, before it goes to a mobile application, it goes through like 10 transitions.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, she's Walmart, so he knows better than me on how it goes to a mobile app. But that's true. So all these transitions have to be managed through a service chain. So that is a very important part of.
How do you do that?
Oh, we'll talk. That is a long process. It depends on which product you choose. There are problems and solutions. The way I know it, you can do per app VPNs in NSX. So on a mobile app, you can actually have one app having VPN, going to a segment, going to a segment, going to a segment, going to a end machine, all secured with an encrypted tunnel. It's possible today. NSX. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So that's why, did we ever tie up with all the cloud providers?
Yes. Man, you're hitting the nail. That's exactly what they're trying to do.
So you must have made money now.
You can see I'm a little bit more comfortable than last year, right?
Yeah. Last year you were a t-shirt, now I see a blazer.
Yeah, see? It's an upgrade.
Maybe a partner.
Yeah.
No, this is it.
No, again, this is not magic.
I worked in Oracle, that's why I have this t-shirt. I lost my shirt.
Anyway, so the point is, SDN is also not completely safe. You can have controller breaches, you can have switch level breaches, you can have hijacking of channels itself. This is not panacea. Sorry. Like I said before, I don't have all the answers. Some people who can control their destiny, like you can have all this, they control the entire ecosystem to manage that type of breaches. If you have a controller from somebody, switch software from somebody, something else from somebody, that is a possibility. This is slightly less probable because the whole ecosystem is controlled by these guys. All the way from a mobile application to the data center core inside the virtualization to the NIC that goes into the virtual machine.
Are controlled by NSX?
Yes. So we'll talk about how a packet flow happens in NSX if you are interested. That's I teach a 5-day class on it, so you can pay for it also.
Or you can enroll here so you can make it to come every year.
We'll do a compromise.
Yeah. So
You may need to cover taking bare metal from AWS and installing VMware and
yeah.
moving the VMs
Correct.
across private and public clouds.
Yes. So now with NSX and with AWS, VMware on AWS has created a product for VMware, which VMware sells you to run your VMware workloads with common security across your private and public clouds. You can literally do a vMotion of a VM inside your data center to AWS. And this is real today. There are sample customers now. By the end of the year, it is generally available.
No, advantage of that being you are not locked into AWS ecosystem.
Correct. That's a very...
You want to move out, you can move out.
Yeah, you can move out of the AWS ecosystem, you can move into IBM ecosystem.
But that's why containers came into picture, right? Because they
Huh?
have this proprietary locking.
Who's that?
Containers, to solve this VM issues, containers came.
Containers are creating one more proprietary level. Who said Docker is open?
Alexei, well,
Tell me, my friend. Yeah, how many times you can went to Alexei? How many people have Alexei? 0.
Everybody wants
So everybody wants to make money, man. There's no quick answer. Very
how do we
simple.
make money?
Oh, I will tell you. So the point is,
I don't know what other people
beautiful. So the thing is, if you have clarity around how your end state is going to be, you can drive your money. That's where the money is. Clarity. So you can drive the architecture where you can make some of these providers dance for you. IBM dance for you, AWS dance for you, VMware dance for you. If you have clarity around what you want. And that's the challenge.
You know AWS Lambda is running everything.
Sir, serverless computing is 10 years away. If you want to architect one application, it takes about 6 years to properly run an application. I will give you real metrics, not me, somebody else, big researchers have talked about it. Yes, the problems of where does the security boundary lie? In serverless computing, it depends even more difficult.
What about quantum computers then?
Before you go there, so Alexa uses Lambda all the time, right? There are millions of apps on it. So how is the security being?
They don't care. That's consumer data. You thought that it is secure?
But if you see e-commerce, that's catching up, right? Not much.
That's consumer data. How many times you saw consumer data? How many devices are secure in your computer is secure? Forget it, man. Not possible. $100 camera, how much security can you put in?
I'm not going to ask anymore.
They don't care about security, right?
They don't. It's device, consumer device. You see, today, because of some carrier mandates, your phones are a little bit more secure than some electronic device that is running wireless network. But if that regulation wasn't there, your phones are as vulnerable as any other device. There is still carrier certification of your phones. How many devices have carrier? Anybody's certification, forget carrier. Go to CDA conference, like Los Angeles had a CDA conference that talks about home entertainment systems. Finally, after 15 years, they have a session on security. There was no session on security till last year.
Just to talk about it.
At least there is somebody who's talking about it. Anyway, I'm done. So,
Why don't you finish it? What else you have?
oh yeah. This is all my story, right? This is what I do. I do data center security. I do distributed data centers. I love to do multi-cloud environments. I believe in edge, lot of things. With some other day, one more session. But anyway,
Definitely.
Share your
Next Sunday.
yeah,
He's here. Next Sunday you're here.
yeah. So this is my product, shameless self-promotion. So this is what we do. Anyway, so this is what we preach, right? Isolate your management network, simplify your networks.
So tell us more.
Tomorrow, Sunday, next Sunday. Yeah, you can come next Sunday.